In the previous session, we discussed about the significance of HMP shunt pathway and the roles of NADPH, the different roles of NADPH. Okay. In this session, we'll discuss about the disorders associated with HMP shunt pathway. The objectives we have set for this session are two. One is glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. The second one is Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Okay. When you talk about the glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, this is the first enzyme. This is first enzyme in this pathway. So the significance of this enzyme is production of NADPH. We have already learned about this one. This NADPH has got many roles, number of roles. Some of the roles we have discussed, around 6 roles, but many more are there. So RBC is very important. That is the reason 10% of glucose in RBC is diverted to HMP shunt pathway. So, okay. Then when you talk about this glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, this is the first enzyme in this pathway. What we discuss now is the first objective, that is glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. Okay, so this deficiency is most common. It is most common, as far as this enzyme is concerned, most common inherited enzyme deficiency that cause a disease. It is the most common inherited enzyme deficiency that leads to cause disease. Okay, so this is about this enzyme. So when you see the prevalence of this enzyme in the worldwide, around 400 million people, they are afflicted with this one, carry a mutated gene, mutated gene. Okay, then there are more than 300 variants. There are more than 300 variants are there regarding the structural genes. Okay, about related to this one. Okay, where it is prevalent? The prevalence it is generally originated from the Mediterranean and Afro-Caribbean region. So naturally the prevalence is seen here. Okay, then Afro-Caribbean, okay, and also in Middle East, and then Asian. In India also, some pockets, this G6PD deficiency is very high. Okay, then the next aspect about this particular disease is which cells it gets affected. Okay, all the cells. Okay, but RBC most severely affected. Okay, affected. Okay, why? What is the reason? Let us see what are these reasons. What are the reasons why RBC gets affected? The first one is RBC have long half-life. See, when you see RBC total, the 120 days, that is the reason there is a long half-life is there. During this period, RBC has to be maintained. The membrane has to be maintained, so that if there is anything problem to the membrane, then there is a damage to the RBC. As you know, NADPH is involved in the protection of this membrane through glutathione. Okay, then second aspect is RBC doesn't have this mitochondria and nucleus, so that inability to carry protein synthesis, so that the proteins which are damaged, they cannot be replaced. That is the another thing. That is the reason RBC is most susceptible. Then, so most of the G6PD subjects are mostly asymptomatic. Most of them are asymptomatic. Okay, then what the manifestation observed? What is the manifestation of the disease? hemolysis is observed. Hemolysis is observed when generally when we say they're mostly asymptomatic, and so hemolysis is observed as acute phenomenon, sudden, okay, phenomenon, acute phenomenon. Okay, then when only after severe oxidative stress, only after severe oxidative stress. Okay, then when will be this oxidative stress is there? When exposure, suppose if the patient is treated with some drugs which are the oxidant in nature, so exposure to oxidant drugs. So what are those group of drugs? Let us see what are those group of drugs. So which are oxidant in nature. So how they can be remembered? So we can use a mnemonic to remember them. The mnemonic is A and A. Okay, this mnemonic A is here you can see. Okay, then it is antibiotics. Okay, then sulfamethoxazole, then antimalarials. Okay, so that is Primaquine. Okay, then antipyretics, acetonilide. Okay, so in this way, through this mnemonic 3A, we can remember it. Okay, then all the RBCs, they get affected. The next issue is, all the RBCs are they get affected? No, all the RBCs are not get affected. So what is it? Older RBC, okay, prone to hemolysis. So all the RBCs do not get affected. Older RBC prone to hemolysis. Why? So reticulocytes have high amount of glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, reticulocytes. But as RBC progresses, attains the age, and mature RBC and are older, then what happens? So more than 50% decrease in the activity of okay, this G6PD. Okay, more than 50% activity of the G6PD. Okay, so that is the reason older RBC, they are susceptible to it. Okay, what is the mechanism of breakdown of RBC? What is the mechanism of breakdown of RBC? So let us see the in a schematic way. So in this condition, what happens here? The drugs administered. Once the drugs administered, then what happens here? So oxidation of glutathione takes place. Because being oxidation of glutathione takes place. Okay, glutathione takes place. Then what happens here? Once the oxidation of glutathione takes place, here in the presence of the drugs, comparison to in the absence, the GSH is converted to the GSSG. So in this, what happens here? So there is a large amount of, so GSSG is converted to GSSG. Then if there is less production of NADPH, what happens? then the reconversion to GSH will not be there. Why? There is insufficient in the absence of the G6PD, so insufficient production of NADPH. That is the reason the oxidized glutathione cannot be converted back to this reduced glutathione. There is also another aspect, because in the presence of these oxidant drugs, the sulfohydryl group of proteins and hemoglobin are oxidized. Then what happens? There are some precipitating bodies will be there in the RBC. So suppose this is the RBC. So there are some bodies are there. So there are some bodies are developed in the RBC. Okay. So these bodies we call it Heinz bodies. So in RBC. Okay. Then once this Heinz bodies in RBC takes place, the erythrocytes with the Heinz bodies. So then what happens? Impaired movement will be affected. Movement will not be smooth because of the change in the RBC through the splenic pulp. So what happens? So when movement is not smooth through the splenic pulp, then it will lead to other consequences. What are those consequences? The consequences are in this process they are excised along with cell membrane. Okay, cell membrane. Once they are excised with the cell membrane, what happens? Breakdown takes place. So what then? There are some damage to the cell membrane. There is increased chances of what? Chances of reticuloendothelial system destruction will be taking place. Okay, so chances are very high of reticuloendothelial. Okay, so destruction of RBC. Okay, so this is the one. So then leads to hemolysis. So what happens in this case of hemolysis? If there is a severe hemolysis, so urine may become dark, okay, or even black. Okay. Then high urine, when there is high urine. So urine flow, high urine flow has to be maintained. Okay, maintained. So to prevent damage to kidney as okay. So there is urine will have high protein because of high breakdown of this RBC. Other aspects are mode of inheritance. In this mode of inheritance, it is X-linked trait. Mode of inheritance is X-linked trait. So what are these various permutations we can see here? There is XY, okay, then XX, okay, then here like this. Okay, then what it tells us? This is males, female, okay, female. That is the arrangement. Okay, then here phenotype expression is there, and it can be called hemizygous. Here it is the clinically okay, normal phenotype. Okay, it is heterozygous. Zygous. Okay. Then here homozygous. Homozygous. So phenotype expression will be there. Expression will be there. This is very rare. It only happens if both the parents are this heterozygous with this gene. Okay. Then the next one is there is another condition where this extensive hemolysis can be seen. What is that one? In the case of favism, consumption of fava beans, it is characterized by acute hemolysis followed by consumption of fava beans. Okay, so that is VCR fava. Okay, favism is characterized by acute hemolysis followed by consumption of fava beans. Okay, then the next one is the G6PD gene, mutated gene. So provides evolutionary advantage. How? How it provides evolutionary advantage? Okay, then you can see the geographic distribution. Distribution of this mutated gene. So there are similarities of distribution. The prevalence is sickle cell similarities with the where the sickle cell mutated gene is prevalent. Okay. Then in this what it tells us. So even we have studied in the sickle cell anemia conditions and also in the G6PD is that the most prevalent in the malarial endemic regions. That means having these genes, either G6PD or sickle cell trait, so it is related. Okay, so this one is relative resistance against okay, the Plasmodium falciform malarial parasite. Malarial parasite. Okay, so this is the where these genes, when you see the geographical distribution, you find a pattern where they are most prevalent in the population where they are living in malarial endemic region. So that means, so it is providing some resistance to the malarial parasite. How it can be explained? Let me see. This is RBC. Okay, in RBC, malarial parasite, okay, grows by completing its cycle. Okay, this is RBC. Malarial parasite grows, completes its cycle. But when G6PD deficiency is there, then what happens in this condition? RBC, malarial parasite cannot grow. It cannot grow. So because the lifespan of RBC is decreased. Okay, in this condition, what happens? So RBC breaks down. Once RBC breaks down, then what happens? The parasite cannot complete. Okay, parasite cannot complete its life cycle, cannot grow. So that is the reason it is providing some resistance to the Plasmodium falciform malaria in those subjects who have mutated G6PD gene. Okay, so this can be included in the balanced polymorphism polymorphism. So that means, so one gene is causing the disease in that person. If another some mutated gene is there, because of this mutated gene, it can provide, provide resistance to the particular disease. Okay, because of this mutated gene, so it provides the resistance to the particular disease, so that the person can survive. So we can call it, this is balanced polymorphism. Finally, we will talk about Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. The second one, that is Wernicke. Briefly, we'll discuss about Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Okay, syndrome. Okay, it is seen. You must have studied in thiamine deficiency. In thiamine deficiency, this condition is seen. Okay, then in the thiamine, why thiamine deficiency? So this condition is observed. Okay, then thiamine, a B complex vitamin. From the thiamine, so there is a TPP is produced. TPP acts as a coenzyme. It is mostly, we don't notice, there is another coenzyme is also there, that is TTP, thiamine triphosphate. That is very important for the nervous system. Okay, very important for the nervous system. Okay, then what happens? So because of this thiamine, the deficiency, okay, this thiamine deficiency is more common in alcoholics. It is more common in alcoholics. Okay, then what happens? Why it is so? Alcohol intake. Then what happens? So there is decreased thiamine absorption in the intestine. Okay, in the intestine. That leads to the thiamine deficiency. TPP will not be there. The other thing which is related to pentose phosphate pathway is TPP is also coenzyme for the transketolase reaction. So what happens? There is mutation in gene for transketolase. Transketolase is an enzyme, very important enzyme in the pentose phosphate pathway, wherein TPP is required as a coenzyme. Because of this mutation, the transketolase, the affinity for TPP is decreased. So once affinity for the TPP is decreased, then what happens? Decreased exose monophosphate shunt pathway. Okay, that these things related to the leads to this sort of conditions. Generally, briefly, we talk about manifestations of this disease. Okay, syndrome. Then memory loss. Okay, then mental confusion and partial paralysis. Okay, then so these are the various manifestations. Okay, if the condition is due to lack of thiamine deficiency only, the giving thiamine, supplementing with the thiamine, the condition might improve. But whereas if there is a mutated gene, transketolase, in this condition, if thiamine is given, it will not be of much use. I will summarize about this aspect, that is disorders of pentose phosphate pathway. The objectives which we set were two. One is regarding glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. The second one is Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Okay. Then G6PD, we know it is the first enzyme in this pathway, produces NADPH. NADPH has got many roles. 10% of the glucose goes to the HMP shunt pathway. And the first one is G6PD deficiency. It is the most common inherited disease, enzyme deficiency, so which leads to a disease. Okay, then around 400 million people are afflicted with this mutated gene. There are around 300 variants are there affecting the structural genes. Then the prevalence is Mediterranean region, Afro-Caribbean region, and Middle East and Asian, and India also, many places there is a prevalence of this disease. Okay, then all the cells get affected, but RBC most severely affected. The reasons for this one: RBC long half-life and inability to synthesize proteins as lack of nucleus, and mostly asymptomatic. Hemolysis is observed, seen in acute phenomena, and only after exposure to the some oxidative stress, maybe due to administration of medications like some oxidant drugs. This group of oxidant drugs can be remembered by using mnemonic 3A's, which can be used: antibiotics, antimalarials, and antipyretics. The examples are antibiotics, sulfamethoxazole, malarials, primaquine, and then antipyretics, estanilate. Okay, then older RBC, they are prone to hemolysis because reticulocytes, they contain very high amount. Over the time, over the days, the levels decrease. In the mature RBC, it will be less than 50% of what it was initially. Mechanism of the breakdown of RBC: once the drugs are administered. Once the drugs are administered, what happens? Oxidation of glutathione takes place. Very high amount of glutathione is converted to oxidized glutathione, but it cannot be converted back because of the insufficient production of NADPH, as there is decreased levels of this one glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. Proteins also gets the sulfidyl group is oxidized, and development of hinge bodies. So that is in the erythrocytes, impaired movement is taking place through the splenic pulp, and excision along with the cell membrane is taking place. Okay, then what happens? Then there are chances of reticuloendothelial destruction and hemolysis is taking place. In this condition, in the presence of extensive hemolysis, urine may become dark or maybe even black. So the high urine flow has to be maintained because it contains a lot of proteins. So if it goes through the kidney and damage to the kidney takes place. Okay, then mode of inheritance, this X-linked trait. Then we have so here one aspect, second and third one. It is in the males, the phenotype, the expression hemizygous, and it is manifested here, but it is normal phenotype. Heterozygous in females, homozygous it is expressed. But this condition is very rare. If both the parents are heterozygous, then only it will be this one inherited. Then Favism is characterized by acute hemolysis followed by consumption of the fava beans. Okay, then there is an evolutionary advantage is there. When you look at the geographic distribution of sickle cell trait and this G6PD trait, then we will find it this one, where it is most prevalent in malarial endemic region. So it provides relative resistance to the against Plasmodium falciform malaria. How it can be explained? This aspect can be explained in RBC. The malarial parasite completes its life cycle, and in the deficiency of G6PD, RBC lifespan decreases. Then you cannot RBC breaks down takes place. Malarial parasite cannot complete its life cycle, cannot grow. So this we can say when there is in malarial endemic region, because of these genes, so they provide some protection against the malaria. That we can say it is a balanced polymorphism. Second one we took up is Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. So thymine deficiency we have studied in the thymine aspects, and thymine gives the TPP. TPP is the coenzyme, and that it is required in many reactions. So it is more common in alcoholics. It is seen alcohol intake leads to decrease in thymine absorption. Okay, then also other aspect is the mutation in the gene of transketolase, affinity for TPP is decreased. Then AMP, that HMP shunt that metabolism is decreased. Okay, manifestations, some memory loss and mental confusion and partial paralysis. So these are the various aspects of G6PD deficiency and Wernicke-Korsakoff disease. Okay, thank you very much.